Hello everyone, I'm Ntom64, and welcome to the HellfireComms playthrough of No More Heroes. Been wanting to do this one for a long time, so instead of just gibbering and jabbering on, I'm going to introduce the rest of the HFC cast for this one. We have Mexican Base Monkey.
So good to be here.
Love the enthusiasm, mate. We have THD, the Hell Dragon.
I'm also really thrilled to be here, guys.
Richie, please break the streak and let the limeys be the ones who have the enthusiasm this time.
Hello everybody, I'm so excited!
Too high, turn it down a notch. But yeah, Richie was the one...
Can I kill him now?
At least wait until part 3, come on. But Richie, you were the one who recorded this one, mate. Why? Why would you inflict the PAL version of No More Heroes on our sweet, sweet audience?
It's because it's the only one I've got.
But we're missing out on all the blood. Instead, all we get is smoke.
What, really? They censored the blood? Are you kidding me? Seriously?
Yeah, they did.
They censored some of the blood.
God, you guys.
It's something you get a little bit later on, and it's just like, I don't get what's going on here, but you'll see. It's like rank 7's a good example of it, rank 2, and rank 1 are all excellent examples of where they censored some of the blood but not all the bits of it. And it's just like, what?
To be fair, the whole game is censored because Suda51, when he was developing this game, wanted it to be as violent, if not more, than Manhunt 2, and that was one of the first games in history to get an adults-only rating.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's, like, banned in the UK. Maybe?
I don't recall us getting it, no. I definitely played the first one. But, No More Heroes, the story of an otaku assassin by the name of Travis Touchdown, voiced by Robin Atkin down to Helldragon. Do you know who he played in Kingdom Hearts 2?
He was Luxford, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And that's Helldragon's contribution to the playthrough done. Thank you for turning it off.
No problem.
So what do you do in No More Heroes, Richard?
You kill loads and loads of people. That's basically the gist of it.
Okay, well, I'm on board so far.
There's also the slightly less interesting doing jobs for money side of things, but there's a reason it got cut when the sequel came around.
Yeah, they dropped the open world aspect, which I think we'll be seeing in part 2.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
So, question. Since we're watching the intro, we saw him fight the rank 11 assassin, I believe.
Yes.
Now, most people who know back when this game was like being pitched as just heroes,
Yep.
the fight was actually one of the trailers, and that trailer is still in this game. Will we be showing it off?
That trailer isn't in this version of the game.
Oh wow, okay. So yeah, because the thing is that whole fight actually becomes important at the beginning of the second game.
Yes, it does, yeah.
That actually makes something a lot clearer in my head, because I was slightly confused about one of the differences between the PAL version and the American version. Basically, we got the music video for Heavenly Star, which appears quite a lot throughout the PAL version and the Japanese version. You guys got the trailer for Heroes. I thought that was the trailer for the TV series Heroes, and obviously that's not quite true.
I'm not sure if the rank 11 is Helter Skelter or Skelter Helter, but he's one of those guys.
One thing I wanted to say, I love how this game just jumps in. Like, it takes all the boring exposition shit that you probably don't give a fuck about, it kind of glosses over it, and there's one thing I don't like about games and movies that makes me not want to play them, it's getting to the good shit. What I love here just sends you right the fuck in. I actually really like that.
There's two facets to the fighting system here. You've got a high stance and a low stance, and guys just explode, so not only does it feel good, it looks good as well.
Apart from when there's massive slowdown.
Yeah, it's a weird thing in Wii games when the motion controls are actually good. I mean, because the thing about it is that they're not really used as the only means of moving. They're used more like to accentuate the killing blows, so when you get an enemy pretty much down to their last bit of health, you move it in the direction that appears on screen, and it's so satisfying to essentially move the Wiimote in the direction of that final blow. I mean, it doesn't feel intrusive. It doesn't feel like, man, this could have worked so much better another way. Like, it actually feels like it works. Like, that enjoyment couldn't have been achieved with any other kind of control scheme.
How are the levels structured, Richard?
Go to a room, kill all the people in it, it will allow you to progress to the next room. That's pretty much how it runs throughout the entire game. There's certain level gimmicks, but the general principle is kill everyone in a room, move to the next room, kill all the people in that room. Eventually you'll get to a point where you'll have a phone conversation with Sylvia, who we haven't had the phone call with yet, but we will, and then you have the boss fight, and all the levels follow that pattern.
Refresh my memory, do you swing your katana by pressing the A button or actually swinging the thing, or is the swing just for the finishers?
Pressing the A button to swing your katana, and then you swing the Wiimote for the killing blows.
Nice.
Which actually works so much better.
Also wanted to point out there was a tiger rug.
They like tigers. A lot.
Sort of his mascot image dealio, and again, a lot of the stuff that they sort of just introduce in this game as simple icons or just symbols to go along with the game, they start to build up upon them in No More Heroes 2. I know Travis Touchdown's tiger iconology like becomes mechanics and then also a focus of a song.
One thing I wanted to also mention is, you guys are probably familiar with this game already, right?
Yeah.
Super.
Me, ever since this game came out, I didn't have a Wii at the time, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna wait on this game. I'm gonna wait until I'm able to play it, and then I'll play it. And ever since this game came out, I haven't watched playthroughs, boss videos, I haven't looked at any guides for nothing. Because I always said to myself, I was going to play this game, and then I never got around to it, so that's why I'm talking over it right now, so whoops.
Well, that means you're going to be probably potentially quite surprised by some of the stuff that's going to happen, which will be quite glorious.
That's true. I have no idea what's going to happen, actually. I am actually going in this fresh, so I am kind of interested to see what will happen.
Did you just forego that finisher back there to show him mercy, Richie?
No, every now and again, for some bizarre reason, the killing blows don't work. I don't know what it is, whether my Wiimote was just giving me grief or what, but it just decided, nope, it's not going to read it no matter which way I swing.
Come on, Tom, you know all about Nintendo hardware fucking up.
Yeah, that is true, that is true. You know, the gamepad has been giving me grief in Wind Waker HD lately.
When you get the things on the roulette, those are dark side attacks, so you've got like strawberry on the shortcake, blueberry chocolate brownie, and so on and so forth, and they have different effects. So one of them, you just get to kill loads of things very quickly. That one you have to press the button to successfully kill them. If you don't press the right button, it just does a taunt.
Okay.
Yeah, Suda51 has a thing with strawberries. They appear in pretty much all of his games. I know in Shadows of the Damned, your partner Johnson says that demons... was it like Demon Souls or something? Or Demon Cocks taste like strawberries. And even in Lollipop Chainsaw, her favorite flavor of lollipop is strawberries. So Suda just has a thing with strawberries, so the whole strawberry on the shortcake is like most people's introduction to his little gimmick there.
I love the whole 8-bit style we've got going on here. It just rams home how much of a friggin' nerd Travis is.
He probably imagines this in his head as he's going through this guy's mansion. Like, he's sitting there, he's pretending he has a little digital health bar. Like, that'd be something I would do if I decided to become an assassin. I'd be just like a complete nerd about it.
Is that what happened to you when you were, like, working out and were not doing your fucking yoga? Like, when you got done with a really intense session, do-do-do-do, level up?
Okay, well, it doesn't get that bad, but, you know, again, like I said, I'd probably get this bad if I was running around killing people with a lightsaber.
The thing about Travis is that he is mentally unstable. This is not a good character. He's also not a reliable character in terms of a narrative. So it always strikes me when it's like, oh, Travis is so cool. It's like, no, even Suda51 has outright said that this is not a gentleman you should be looking up to. He has many flaws and is not a good guy.
Although that said, he does grow over the course of the two games to equate to something that's not exactly the worst person in the world.
He goes from sheer scum to just a slimy individual.
He's just a little bit of a bastard. 50% bastard, if you will.
And yet there's something so lovable about him.
They ported this game over to the PS3, didn't they, as a No More Heroes Paradise, I believe was the subtitle?
Yes, they did.
Okay, and they never did that with the second one, did they?
No.
Oh, why is that, I wonder? I guess because the first one didn't port well enough? I don't know.
Maybe it didn't sell very well.
That's possible, yeah. Yeah, because when I read about this game actually bombed in Japan, didn't it? But the West, it was so popular that Suda pushed the sequel through for the West pretty much primarily.
Suda was disappointed because when he made this game, he intentionally tried to make it as a game that was unlike anything that you would normally get on a Wii. So when you were mentioning how it just gets straight into the action, it feels very different than from what other games do, Suda intentionally did that. He wanted this game to essentially be a thing that drove people towards the Wii, something that was so unique that it was unlike anything on the console, and that you would actually buy a Wii to get this game. And so that's why he went through all of that, and the remakes were actually published by Konami, and the big thing about them being on the PS3 and Xbox 360 was obviously that for some of the versions they had their editing toned a bit down. The game looks better in some aspects, they had like a few mini games or whatever, but honestly I prefer the Wii. It's just sort of...
Same here.
It's a good experience to get that original Wii version experience with this game.
I mean, it's just, there's something about the way that it's not exactly cel shading, but the lack of colours sometimes looks better than in the HD port, where there's too much kind of shading going on, and something just doesn't quite click.
It has an aesthetic. It's Wind Waker all over again. It has an aesthetic, so then when you try to go HD and just put shit tons of bloom on it, no, you did not make it better, you just made my eyes hurt. Congratulations, I'm going back to playing the original.
What I like about the art style is that it's quite dark, like, physically speaking, you know, not in terms of like gore and such, especially in the PAL version. So when you get bright colours, and especially in this first level, where there's like deep reds and golds and, you know, just, you know, overtly bright colours, they pop a lot, even for a standard definition picture that you'd get on the Wii.
Yeah, it's a very comic book kind of style, I noticed.
Very much. Also, in case you guys haven't noticed, the guy who made the game was Suda51. The reason he has 51 is because his first name is Koichi, or Goichi.
Goichi.
So Go is 5, Ichi is 1, so he made his own pun name of Suda51.
He is a little bit eccentric. He
is super eccentric. The guy actually used to work as an undertaker. He was a funeral director before he started writing stories for video games. So he's always had this affinity towards death, so it's always made kind of sense why his better games either involve some sort of death or just assassinations in general.
Although that said, I'd say the No More Heroes series, in the end, does feel like his most successful series in terms of the games themselves, because, like, Lollipop Chainsaw is fun and all, but it's not the same, and I don't think Shadows of the Damned got particularly the same level of acclaim.
Shadows of the Damned's big drawing point was that they had the music from the guy who did Silent Hill, they had the level design from the guy who did Resident Evil, and then you had Suda51's vision, and so it had the people. But then when the game actually came out, people were like, oh, you're just walking through corridors, shooting with an occasional dick joke, because that was Shadows of the Damned's huge thing was, check it out, I have a gun called Johnson that gets big when I call a sex hotline.
That's the thing about Suda, like all of his games tend to be pretty niche from what I've seen, like, Killer 7 is the other one that people bring up a lot with, Suda51. I can see why it's not exactly a game everyone can get into, you know what I'm saying?
When you get into the huge, it's an allegory of Japanese, American, trans-Pacific economic relationships in the facade of assassins. And also, there's Power Rangers.
That's true, yeah.
Your ranked fight begins just up ahead.
Now, when I got to this bit, I think I had, like, the speaker turned on the Wii remote, but I had subtitles turned off. So or maybe I had the speaker on, but the volume was all the way down, if that makes any sense. So I was just walking along here. Travis had his phone out. There were no subtitles and no audio coming through. So I thought the game had glitched.
Aww. Because these phone calls are the best, especially when you have the microphone on your Wiimote on.
It's actually probably one of the best uses of the Wiimote that I've ever seen in a game, because it's got the speaker on it, but hardly anything ever really used it. And then No More Heroes came along with these phone calls, and it's just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I think the only other time that mic was really used is in Brawl. When you select characters, you get you get some sort of noise depending on the character come through the Wiimote. But why are you playing Brawl with a Wiimote? Wait, why are you playing Brawl?
I just realized, though, you're talking about the whole speaker with the Wiimote. You're supposed to hold it up to your ear like a phone, aren't you?
Yup.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool. I like how that's a little touch, but it still kind of immerses you in the game. That's actually really neat.
This was around the time that the Wii Remote was a relatively fresh concept, and I think that's why No More Heroes was as successful as it was, because you have the feeling of, even though you don't swing the sword like you would in Twilight Princess, you still get that visceral feel when you do a finishing blow, and then you have the novelty of, having it as a phone, and you use the nunchuck in, coordination with the, or collaboration, I guess. Combination, whatever, begins to see, with the Wii Remote, and to do wrestling moves. So it just feels very nice.
Indeed.
Yeah, I forgot about the wrestling moves, which are really, really OP, and I'm kind of disappointed when people don't, abuse them. I mean, it's okay not to, but honestly, it's why not? They're there, use them, and they're really, really broken.
Don't worry, I will be using those, and if anybody's wondering quite what's going on with the reason why sometimes I'm running around like a lunatic, it's because I'm looking for the treasure chests, which hold trading cards / concept art, because I'm playing on New Game Plus, which is why I've got as much health as I have, it's why I've got the particular weapon I've got, and it's also why I'm causing so much damage.
I was wondering why you were wielding a katana. I thought the handle, or the thing that's around the base of the blade, looks overly fancy for the start of the game.
Yes, this is the final weapon in the game, the Tsubaki Mark III. Basically, once you've beaten the game once, you can go back in with everything unlocked that you've already got, and you keep the amount of money as well. So we're going to have a very, very nice run for the first few bits, because we're not going to have to sit and grind money.
I also notice you skip out the other iconic thing about the controller in this game. You have to wiggle it back and forth in order to charge the lightsaber up, which looks like exactly what you think it looks like.
Yeah. I just shake it like a can of soda.
That helps, yeah.
This is the first time that I'd played No More Heroes in a very long time, and I was just like, I know how to recharge my battery, but I can't remember, and I didn't have the, anything to hand to figure it out, so it took me until this boss battle to realise, oh yeah, that's how I charge my katana.
Yes, I must fill myself with sin.
It's depressing that it took me this long to remember how to do that, but there's another thing that's even worse that I didn't realise until later on, and I will talk about that when we get to the next part.
I love the back and forth that Travis has between him and the bosses.
Hey, you know what paradise is, right?
Axel, you look like shit.
This is paradise.
I really do praise this game over the sequel when, with this game, you learn about these bosses in a relatively short amount of time through effective dialogue. You learn who this guy is. You don't really, get his backstory or whatever, but you get who he is, what he stands for, why he fights in, 5, at most 10-minute cutscenes. The second game completely throws this out the window by changing the Sylvia call to essentially be, so your next opponent is this guy, he grew up here, and he totally wants to do this, and you're told the character. And whereas they're serving the exact same purpose, and you get the same information at the end, it's so much more effective in the first game, because you're learning it yourself, no one's telling you, you're getting it through the dialogue. It's again, because you figure it out yourself, it's a lot more rewarding in figuring out who these characters are instead of just outright being told.
I really, really like this guy. This is death metal, isn't it, Richard?
Yes, it is.
What's cool is it's kind of a parallel. It's another user who wields a beam weapon. In this case, it's a beam cleaver, I guess. So instead of fighting like a crazy boss with multiple limbs, you start off with a character who's roughly on the same size and skill level as Travis, so you're not like too into deep water right now.
Yeah, his weapon's actually called the Orange.
Well, Orange 2. I don't know why they decided to add 2, but yeah.
It's apparently a reference to Apple. Like, all of these... There's so much in this game that are references. They're like, wait, how is that a reference? Like, because we said it's a reference. Get over it.
So, Richie, what is the strategy for death metal?
Basically, just beat the hell out of him. There's a nice kind of advanced technique which you should try to learn as soon as possible called the Dark Step. Basically, you kind of wiggle the nunchuck stick when your enemy is about to attack you, and you'll kind of slide around them and can cause massive damage. When you get him below a certain health point, he will create these clones. The only way to progress is to kill off those clones. The reason that I'm being slow right now is partly because obviously the battery's really low, but also because Travis has this monologue, which is actually really cool and really philosophical.
That's Suda for you. It's like, here, let me talk about my dick. Oh, and also, have you ever thought about life?
Yes.
Why do plums blossom in the moonlight? We'll never know.
I don't know, but have you seen the tits on that girl? Yeah, buddy. It's like, really, Travis? Why?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Dark Step. I mean, it reminds me of Witch Time from Bayonetta.
Yes, I mean, I'd say Witch Time certainly works a lot better because it's just you press a button and you are very in control of the dodge. Here, that's not quite the case. It's much more advanced to pull off, but that's because it's an advanced technique.
Tom, I'm just gonna let you know, just because you bring up Bayonetta doesn't mean you're gonna win brownie points with Richie, alright? I'm still his favorite.
I wasn't even trying to do that, you asshole.
It's fine.
You know, this game gives me a really big Kill Bill vibe all of a sudden, and I guess that's kind of the main point. You're fighting the various colorful assassins. It's very Tarantino-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since this is the PAL version, we essentially tickled him to death. I mean, just watch this finishing blow. This is PAL-tastic.
At this point, he's meant to have no hands.
I'm so mad right now!
This is like how they censor JoJo before it hits the Blu-rays.
Yeah, just put like that black fog over it.
I'm not smoking a cigarette, then what's in your mouth, Jotaro? Nothing.
You know, you'd think that I wouldn't like the fact that there's no blood here, but it kind of makes it even more video game-ish that he explodes into pixels.
Yeah, it's like very Scott Pilgrim-ish, I just realized.
I like that, but the arms still being attached to his body, that's... what? No. No. Like, you can have limbs missing and just have the black pixels shooting out. That's kind of cool, because it kind of feeds into his delusion, because you're going to find out Travis really doesn't give a shit about killing people. Like, it's fun to him. So he doesn't see them as human lives at this point in the game, so it kind of would have been nice, because it feeds into his delusion that I'm just killing guys made out of pixels. Woo, who cares? Now give me money.
Nice kill, Travis. I didn't.
For a way of censoring the game, this was a pretty decent way of doing it. There was no reason to censor it, but for what it is, it's not particularly offensive to me. It's like, it also actually makes more sense out of Talbot and Weller's equipment, and that's the name of Sylvia's help people, because it's sort of, you could pretend that they're vacuum cleaners of some sort, even though they're shooting stuff out, but...
Also, Sylvia was actually based off of Scarlett Johansson. I'm not sure, like, what movie they actually use in that reference, but they have explicitly said that, like, in terms of the real-life people, they went Scarlett Johansson for her, and obviously Johnny Knoxville and his jackass antics for Travis Touchdown.
Yep.
Did I mention Sylvia has an ass?
Another character I know that also has that Johnny Knoxville reference him is Nathan Drake in Uncharted.
Ah.
Sylvia's a bit of a bitch, not gonna lie. Not gonna give away the twist, but not one of my favourite video game characters, to put it bluntly.
Come on, just once.
I just like how you never really know whose side Because a lot of people say that when they watch shows, like, oh, you don't know whose side she's on. I was like, well, no, you can tell. She's not hiding it. With her, you really have no idea where she stands. Does she want Travis to succeed? Is her interest in her company? Is the interest in whoever's at the top? You really don't know what you need to do in order to get her on your side.
Definitely. But that is the end of rank 1. Well, rank 10, I should say.
We're nowhere near the top.
We'll get there soon enough, though.
Indeed we will. See you next time when we explore Santa Destroy.